I, as an engineer, think of the coastal development, infrastructure development in the state of Odisha, because three things are very important so far as Odisha coast is concerned, sea coast is concerned. It is one of the worst cyclone-prone areas in the world, number one, and number two, the wind velocity is about 50 meter per second, that is about 180 kilometer per hour. Number three, the surge wave height, as you proceed from the southern part of the coast of Odisha to the northern part of the coast of Odisha, it varies from 4.5 meter to 10.2 meters. So the difference is about 6 meter of surge height difference from south to north. It is absolutely an exceptional figure in the world scenario. So we are definitely prone to the cyclone and surge waves. So it is an extremely vulnerable sea coast in the entire world, I could say. So in order to take care of that, this is a natural calamity. It has been bestowed by nature on us. We can't avoid it. But as an engineer, we will always think of an opportunity out of a crisis. And that opportunity would come if you make coastal infrastructure development in the form of making coastal highways, number one. Number two, making a lot of ports and harbors. Number three, development of inland waterway in the inaccessible areas of this coastal belt. The coastal highways basically will protect the surge waves. Not only it will make a connectivity, but also it will serve as a part of disaster management. Number two, it will create tourism opportunity. A lot of tourists will come to the state of Odisha. And my vision as a structural engineer is that when we are making these coastal highways, it will pass through a lot of rivers and tributaries, wherein unique kind of bridges with lot of aesthetics matching in the environment should be constructed. So that will attract lot of tourists, which in turn will give a lot of employment to the state of Odisha. So that will be my idea as an engineer, is to convert a difficult situation into an opportunity in the form of making these kind of structures. If you want to take Odisha ahead, you have to think aloud and you have to make an offbeat thinking, because when we think of the coast line is about 500 kilometers. If you do not protect the coastline, I'll give an interesting statistics. Brahmaputra in Assam makes the erosion to such a great extent that even by the Chinese aggression, India has not lost that line of land. So we have to protect the land which we habit. So therefore I am insisting that when we are thinking ahead of Odisha, this coastal infrastructure development in the form of coastal highways, inland waterway and ports and harbors have to be done, because ports and harbors will again play an important role. Let us take the example of Singapore and Dubai. They do not produce anything of their own, but because of the port, they are having a strong economy, and Odisha having a 500 kilometer stretch of coastal line, we are having hardly 2 to 3 major ports. So we should have at least 10 major and medium ports. So that will, and our maritime, Odisha is, we take pride in having our maritime trade. So that maritime trade has to be developed. Similarly, another example is, when we are talking of inland waterway development, talk of this Taladonda Canal. Taladonda Canal was built by the Britishers, not because only to have irrigation facilities. That was acting as a communication media, not only for the people to go from one place to other, but also it was helping in transporting materials. Now when we are talking of the ports and harbors, this inland waterway development will take materials to the ports. So thereby it will be cost economic, and number two, it will that concept will help the ports to develop, and it will also environmental free. It will congenial to the environment, because the roads transport will create a lot of environmental pollution. But in case of inland water authority, that will make an environmental situation. So what I mean to say, to sum up, the difficult scenario of Odisha coast can be converted into an opportunity by making the coastal infrastructure development in the three sectors, namely coastal highways and ports and harbors and inland water authority. But the concept, the planning has to be done as a whole. There should not be an isolation planning for coastal highways, there should not be isolation planning for inland waterway, or there should not be any isolation planning for harbors. All these three units have to be combinedly planned, and so that one will act as supplementary and complementary to each other. That's the vision.